Says, hi Jake, is Evernorth just an ODL provider for XRP? I'm trying to understand how SPACs fit into the crypto puzzle beyond ODL. So this is actually a really good question. So Evernorth will be seeding DeFi protocols on the XRPL. So we've got a couple amendments that are currently up for vote here. XRP Scan is a fantastic tool. You can go to xrpscan.com/amendments and see all the amendments that are currently up for vote on the XRPL. We recently got permission DEX through. That is, ready to go. It's live as of 2/18. Token escrow was the one before that on 2/12. Those two are big. Permission DEX is a big deal for institutions using the mainnet. You've already seen volume start to pick up on the mainnet, up hundreds of % just in the last few days. What could that be? Probably institutions dipping their toe over there on the mainnet of the XRPL. But back to the DeFi protocol. So we've got single asset vault. We've got the lending protocol. Not so many votes on those right now. We got 8 and 6. We need 28, 29 votes on both of those for those to go live. And there is a 2-week waiting period. But the SPAC will allow people to invest in a DAT, or a digital asset treasury company. Ripple could also be considered a digital asset treasury company. If you were to value it based on the amount of XRP that they have, they're worth significantly more, like $600-700 billion versus 50 billion, which is what they raised their last round at with Citadel and Fortress in November of 2025. So that's at a 1.8 times NAV. Actually, that was Brad Garlinghouse sent out a shareholders message toward the end of last year, talking about a couple different ways that you could value their company and why he believes they're significantly undervalued at $50 billion, which I would agree with. So anyway, back to the DAT. You've seen Bitcoin DATs, you've seen Ethereum DATs, you've seen a ton DAT, you've seen all these different tokens that are holding a certain digital asset in their treasury. And they still have their own business, whatever it might be, that they are running, but the main benefit of allocating to that equity is the allocation to the underlying asset that trades, as a multiple of NAV. So net asset value, right? So if it was a 1-to-1, you would look at an ETF. There's not a whole lot of leverage with that. And the ETF can't put the assets to work in a way that's not native on chain. So aside from staking, they really can't borrow against or margin the assets or do much else with them to be able to generate a return. Evernorth can. Evernorth can take the XRP that they have in their treasury, close to 700-800 million